Once upon a time in Santa Monica, California, a little girl was born into the spotlight. Her name? Mariska Hargitay, the daughter of Hollywood legends Jane Mansfield and Mickey Hargitay. But fame isn't inherited. It's earned. Growing up in the shadow of stardom, Mariska learned early that life can be both beautiful and heartbreaking. She lost her mother in a tragic car accident at just 3 years old. But even then, she carried a quiet strength, the kind that would define her for decades to come. In the early years of her career, she took on small roles in film and television. She was persistent, driven, and determined to prove herself. From gritty dramas to light-hearted sitcoms, Mariska kept showing up. One audition, one role, one step at a time. Then came 1999. That's when the world met Detective Olivia Benson. On Law Order Special Victims Unit, Mariska didn't just play a cop. She became a symbol of empathy, justice, and unshakable strength. Week after week, year after year, her performance resonated with millions. She brought depth and dignity to stories too often ignored, but her impact didn't stop when the cameras cut. Inspired by real-life survivors who saw themselves in her character, Mariska founded the Joyful Heart Foundation in 2004. Her mission? To help survivors of sexual assault, domestic violence, and child abuse reclaim their lives. She used her platform not for fame, but for healing. Through over 2 decades on SVU, she's become one of the longest-running characters in television history. She's earned Emmys, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and the love of fans around the globe. But more importantly, she's earned their trust. Today, Mariska Hargitay is more than an actress. She's a changemaker, a mother, a mentor, and a force of nature. Her story isn't just about fame. It's about using that fame to do good. From then to now, she's shown us what true strength looks like, and as far as Mariska's journey goes, she's just getting started. Before the world knew him as Sergeant Odafin Finn Tutuola, he was Tracy Lauren Marrow, a kid from Newark, New Jersey, raised in the chaos and challenges of South Central Los Angeles. Life was never easy or simple. He lost his parents at a young age. He faced the streets, the struggle, and the system head-on. But even in the midst of hardship, Ice-T found his voice, and that voice would shake the world. In the 1980s, he emerged as one of the pioneers of gangsta rap, raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic. With tracks like 6 in the Mornin' and Colors, he painted pictures of street life that were brutally honest and impossible to ignore. Then came Body Count, a heavy metal band that blended punk rage with street wisdom, and with it, controversy. Cop Killer sparked a national debate, but Ice-T never backed down. He wasn't promoting violence, he was holding up a mirror, and he didn't flinch. From music to movies, he broke barriers. In films like New Jack City, he didn't just act, he owned the screen. Critics took notice, audiences listened, and Ice-T kept evolving. Then came the role that would redefine him for a new generation. In 2000, he joined the cast of Law Order, SVU. As Detective Finn Tutuola, Ice-T brought street smarts, dry wit, and a unique authenticity. What started as a guest role became a legacy. Over 2 decades later, he's one of the longest-serving actors in television history. But Ice-T is more than a rapper, more than an actor. He's a thinker, a survivor, a cultural force. He's written books, mentored young artists, and remained a voice for truth in a world full of noise. From the streets to the studio, from controversy to critical acclaim, from the mic to the badge, Ice-T has done it all, on his own terms, in his own voice. Then and now, he's never followed the rules. He's rewritten them.
Dann Florek was born on May 1, 1950, in Flat Rock, Michigan. A small-town guy who grew into one of television's most familiar authority figures. With a firm voice, calm demeanor, and sharp intellect, Florek carved out a space in Hollywood not by chasing the spotlight, but by owning the command seat. His breakthrough came in 1990, when he was cast as Captain Donald Cragen on Law and Order. With that steely stare and gravel-voiced authority, Florek became the face of command, a man who knew the law, felt the weight of it, and made the tough calls. But it was Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, that made Captain Cragen a legend. From the show's very first episode in 1999, Dann Florek anchored the unit with quiet strength and deep empathy. Cragen wasn't flashy. He wasn't the hero charging in. He was the anchor, the one keeping everyone else grounded. He stood behind his detectives, even when they pushed the rules, because he understood that justice was messy, and so were the people trying to uphold it. Off-screen, Florek is known for his intelligence, humility, and respect for the craft. He trained in theater, sharpened his skills on the stage, and brought that discipline to every role he played. While many actors chase headlines, Florek built a legacy through consistency, a rock in the storm of primetime drama. Now 75 years old, Dann Florek remains a quiet giant of television, a man who never needed flash to make an impact. He just showed up, delivered, and became unforgettable. That's not just acting. That's mastery. 1925, Dolores Del Rio. Step back to 1925, where silent film star Dolores Del Rio dazzles in a luxurious mink coat, surrounded by beautifully wrapped Christmas gifts adorned with tulle ribbons and festivali. 1930, Bette Davis. In 1930, Bette Davis captures the holiday spirit, dressed as Santa Claus, posing playfully in a giant holiday wreath. A true icon of festive cheer. 1932, Douglas Fairbanks Jr. Fast forward to 1932, where Douglas Fairbanks Jr. shares a joyful moment with his father on the snowy slopes of Lake Arrowhead, embracing the holiday season. 1932, Anna May Wong. At a Hollywood celebration in 1932, Anna May Wong is seen opening gifts under a beautifully decorated Christmas tree, embodying the joy of giving. 1932, Ginger Rogers. Also in 1932, Ginger Rogers chats with Boris Karloff at a charity gala, showcasing the warmth and Christopher Meloni was born on April 2, 1961, in Washington, D.C. With intense eyes and a presence that commands attention, Meloni didn't just walk onto the screen, he stormed it. Early in his career, he took on a mix of roles, from comedy in Wet Hot American Summer to raw drama in HBO's Oz, where he played the dangerously complex inmate Chris Keller. But it was Law and Order, SVU, that turned him into a household name. As Detective Elliot Stabler, Meloni brought a rare mix of rage, empathy, and moral conflict to primetime television. He wasn't just a cop, he was a father, a partner, a man constantly at war with the darkness he saw every day. His chemistry with Mariska Hargitay as Olivia Benson was electric, driving the series for over a decade. When Meloni left SVU in 2011, fans felt the loss deeply, but he returned in Law and Order, Organized Crime, proving that Elliot Stabler wasn't finished, and neither was he. Outside the badge, Meloni has shown his versatility in both comedy and drama, never afraid to take risks or play against type. Whether he's making us laugh, think, or sit on the edge of our seats, Christopher Meloni remains one of the most captivating actors of his generation. Now 64 years old, he continues to redefine what it means to be a TV icon, intense, fearless, and unforgettable. Kelli Giddish was born on April 13, 1980, in Cumming, Georgia, a Southern-born powerhouse who brought grit, fire, and heart to one of television's toughest roles. Before she wore the badge on screen, she trained in theater and built her skills on stage and in soap operas. But everything changed when she stepped into the shoes of Detective Amanda Rollins on Law and Order, SVU. Rollins wasn't your typical cop. She was messy, complex, flawed, and that's what made her real. Kelli brought raw emotion to the role, showing a woman battling addiction, trauma, and the weight of the badge, all while chasing justice in New York's darkest corners. Her dynamic with Olivia Benson, played by Mariska Hargitay, evolved into a deep, layered friendship that added emotional depth to the series. What made Giddish stand out wasn't just her talent, it was her fearlessness. She wasn't afraid to be vulnerable, to get gritty, to let her character bleed a little on screen. And fans connected with that. For over a decade, she gave life to a character who felt like someone we knew, someone who fought hard, fell hard, and got back up every time. Now 45 years old, Kelli Giddish remains a defining force in the law and order universe, a reminder that strength isn't about perfection. It's about persistence, honesty, and showing up with your whole heart. Every time.